He was in the Caribbean to film a story.
And the Caribbean was like, wow, uncharted territory. I'd never been there.
Instead, he became the story.
You have no manifest.
When Max left, there was no show.
His project sinking, his career, family, and fortune on the line.
My dad was risking everything.
This money is going out and it's not coming back.
He takes a gamble
I announced to the captain that I was now taking control of the ship.
that may not pay off.
This is the Virgin Express.
I had nothing to lose.
A drug kingpin is after him. He's battling storms, a crippled ship,
Virgin Express calling any boat.
and time is running out.
We don't have communications.
His fate hanging by a thread.
We're going to have to declare an emergency.
I feel like the frog in the test tube, you know? If you put a frog in a bowl of hot water, he's going to jump out. But if you put a frog in some water and you turn the temperature up slowly, he stays. And that's kind of like how I feel what happened to me.
In the summer of 2008, documentary filmmaker Gordon Forbes III embarked on what he believed would be a relatively straightforward project, filming the dangerous but legal seizure and repossession of cargo ships in the Caribbean.
Done a lot of things. I've run through jungles getting shot at. I'll go fly jet airplanes and I'll go into avalanche country and I'll go dive with sharks. And I thought, boy, this is going to be a home run.
We're going to have to declare an emergency. You can roll over.
Now it's a story of how I'm fighting for my own life.
Hey, I'm talking to you.
Jesus Christ.
It could be the most dangerous challenge
We got problems.
he's ever known.
I know everything you do, okay?
Haitian cocaine smugglers, extortion, financial problems, my family and my friends and my business. I was thinking all along, boy, what am I doing?
He's been shot at, pulled cheese in an F-14, pummeled down glaciers, and gone head-to-head with killing machines. Documentarian Gordon Forbes III is no stranger to risk. After reading about the dark and dangerous world of freighter trading, he thought shooting it would be a cakewalk in the Caribbean.
It was a really interesting thing, repossessing a freighter. I mean, you're down in a foreign country, you're cutting the chains with a torch, you're in there at night, you're sneaking around, you're getting paid to do it. I'd never seen anything like it before, so I was thinking, yeah, this would be a new idea, a fresh idea.
The first thing to understand about this region is its size. The Caribbean rim is bordered to the north by Cuba and Jamaica, to the east by the Bahamas, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. It runs south through the West Indies. It spans over 1 million square miles of total area, including 7,000 islands, reefs, and coastlines. This is ground zero for cargo ships, illegal alien trafficking, and cocaine smugglers.
The Caribbean runs on shipping. Without shipping, all those island nations would die. Everything has to be brought, everything has to be moved, and they don't have land highways. So it's essential. It's a lifeline. If the ship works, you could make 50 grand a month.
But if the ship doesn't, it can be repossessed just like a car. Forbes' mission is to follow a repossession, a seizure, of a defaulted freighter. Just one problem. The Caribbean is one of the most dangerous places on Earth.
It's that romantic version. Everyone thinks it's Jimmy Buffett with a drink with a little umbrella in it and women with bikinis and lots of sun. But really what the Caribbean really is corrupt. The Caribbean basin has the #1 murder rate in the world according to the U.S. State Department. It runs on bribes, it runs on bureaucracy. It runs because people don't have money and they want money.
With graft, bribery, and violence a constant threat, Forbes needed an entree into this dark world.
This is bullshit. No, we're not doing it.
Enter Max Hardberger, self-proclaimed maritime troubleshooter.
A reputed freighter captain. He repossessed ships. sort of a sailor of fortune, if you will. Max was the underlying figure. It was like Max meets Dog the Bounty Hunter meets Ice Road Truckers. I mean, in the Caribbean, you know, and it was like, could we repossess a ship every week? Well, maybe not, but there were plenty of stories there.
At first, it seems things might work out as Max scopes out a target for repossession, a stolen ferry boat.
How quickly could we get the boat out of here?
It would take us 2 or 3 hours. It's not going to be a quick process.
The next day, they head out for a closer look. They need to be sure no one's on board.
Ah, okay, you see the target?
If anyone is on board, the operation will be scrubbed.
Grande, huh? Muy grande. You're looking at a vessel that's using soft line. We'll cut that with a knife. And unbelievable, they would moor that thing with soft line. Look for that light on the back, too. There's somebody on board. Y'all turn your cameras away from that guy now. Alex, you're not looking toward him, are you?
With the ship occupied and not knowing if the guards are armed, the mission and the day is wasted.
So that wasn't a good sign.
No, that was not a good sign.
For Forbes, things just seemed to go downhill from there.
We began to get these little premonitions. He would say something was set up and then it wasn't set up. We had a ship ready to go, and there we were all packed and headed for the airport. He calls up and says, no, we don't have a ship.
In Haiti, with no new targets on the horizon, Forbes follows Max to the infamous Cité Soleil.
I wasn't prepared for what I saw. The Cité Soleil is like the worst slum in the Western Hemisphere. It's an anthill of violence and poverty and hope, controlled by gangs. So you have to be on your guard. You have 3 and 4 and 5 feet deep garbage. You have smoldering garbage fires that have been burning for years. And as you move through the crowd, of course, you're stepping on everybody, and everyone's stepping on you.
No, I'll have to admit I've never seen it like this.
Max wanted to see some ships in the harbor. He wanted to get into salvaging ships for the steel.
For the crew, it's like walking through a minefield.
Those crowds, the way they maintain order is if someone tries to steal a banana or someone's blanket, the crowd will surround them and beat them to death. One wrong move, one harsh word, and you could just have a riot on your hands.
20 minutes later, they're on the first ship, but they're not alone.
Bonsoir, bonsoir, monsieur.
We got on the ship, the people there were not glad to see us. And I think Max was a little nervous because he was there to throw him off. If he was going to take that ship, he knew he'd have to get rid of him.
But while tensions simmer on deck, down below in the crowd, violence erupts, forcing a quick getaway for Forbes' conspicuous group. Max's apparent lack of planning has not only endangered the project, but the safety of Forbes' crew.
I was very disappointed, and I was bummed out at Max, who didn't care. Max did, oh, well, you know, and he didn't care, and I realized he was kind of superficial. I began saying, well, what's going on here? Because all we're doing is bleeding money. And we'd spent 4 weeks in the Caribbean, you know, moving to Haiti and Dominican Republic, and it didn't work out.
Forbes' troubles are also taking a toll on his personal and professional life, a world away in California.
He'd try to call every day, yet it was hard. From the beginning, it was, he was a little more positive with his failed attempts, yet, as it went down the line, there was more involvement in his emotions, there was more pain within him, there was more fear, there was more, oh my God, what have I done?
I was resentful, and I know my sister felt resentment too for his absence, just as our family leader and also as a support.
Even Forbes' business began to feel the effects of his absence.
It was really just sort of like a ship without a captain. Pacific Coast Video had no captain because he was gone. And that's when I looked at the potential of saying, you know what, I don't like leaving projects unfinished, but I'm out of here.
Oh, crap. You're kidding. I will give the agent 72. What, they took another cargo or something? 48. What is the ETA now? We're here.
With more days and weeks passing, plans falling like dominoes and hemorrhaging money, Forbes' dream project was becoming a nightmare. And Max was going off the deep end.
When you have no cargo, you have no manifest.
Max was definitely deteriorating. You just didn't want to be there.
Just when it seemed things couldn't get any worse,
The Dow closed below the 8,000 mark Wednesday.
I took a major money hit. When the stock market went bad, that was it for me. The show was in trouble. My business and family life was not happening, and I couldn't move forward, really couldn't do anything. So I had to do something drastic.
the decision Gordon Forbes is about to make will impact everyone in his life in ways even he could never imagine.
It was dangerous, to say the least.
He was just telling us, I'm about to embark on this pretty large challenge, and I just want to let you know that this is what I'm doing.
And we're thinking, why would he do this? He's risking what he has here.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Forbes decides to seize and repossess a freighter himself, running it as a business, even while filming its operations. He'll use all his remaining assets to pay the ship's mortgage.
We were out on a dock, and I saw this ship, and it had a crane on it. It wasn't too big, it wasn't too small, and I thought, what a perfect tramp steamer. There was a mortgage on this ship. The guy who held the mortgage called and said, can you repossess this ship? And at that point, the wheels began to turn, and I began to think, we should repossess this ship, and then we'll buy the mortgage, and we'll turn this ship into something we can film. We'll take cargoes on it, and it'll be the story of Ulysses in the Caribbean carrying cargo. It could make $150,000 a month, and it seemed like a good idea at the time.
There's just one slight problem. The ship is under the control of a Haitian drug smuggler, Rochambeau Dulcine.
He was arrested for cocaine smuggling and actually incarcerated, and he mysteriously was let go. He's a treacherous guy, a dangerous guy. He's actually threatened me.
Forbes hatches an audacious plan to seize the Virgin Express out from under Rochambeau. He quietly charters the ship.
Once we got outside territorial waters, I announced to the master, to the captain, that I was now taking control of the ship as a mortgagee, and I instructed him to change courses, and I repossessed the ship.
TV producer Gordon Forbes is now the unlikely owner of a 1,500-ton tramp freighter in the Caribbean. No one could believe it, not even Forbes himself.
And I thought, what have I got myself into?
I was in shock. I did not expect for him to say he wasn't going to invest his entire life savings into this ship. I was really concerned for the first time. I didn't see how this was going to work.
I think we all felt a little angry that he had really invested in something that we didn't believe in. This money is going out and it's not coming back.
If you ask me why I did it, it's because I wanted something that would provide security for my family, that would be an investment, and it would be an exciting thing to do.
But if it's excitement Forbes craves, he's about to get more than he bargained for. With thousands spent in repairs and legal fees, it's his maiden voyage as owner of the Virgin Express.
Once we had taken over the ship, there was a momentary thing of what do we do now? I had to stay focused and avoid the fear and avoid the apprehension and stay present.
We're talking 445 nautical miles.
His years as a television producer gives Forbes a leg up in running a cargo ship.
You're used to dealing with a lot of wild and uncontrollable things, and you have to solve problems as they happen. You have to deal with a lot of personalities.
I thought we just got out of the briar patch.
And you also can never forget what you're there for, and that's to bring home the bacon.
The second day out, problems. Jose, the second engineer, makes a potentially serious mistake.
Jose brought me a report on the fuel which said 3,300 gallons, and I asked him to check it again. So he comes back a little while later and goes, whoops, I made a mistake. I think we only have 2,300. I'm estimating 3 días. I did the math a little while ago, and we'll end up arriving in Colombia with about 400 gallons. It's about, half a day of fuel.
We got to make a proper decision here,
Roger, the captain, was a pathological manipulator.
Myron, hold on a second, Roger.
Very much of a con man, and the crew hated him. When things got too tense or he lost interest, he would just go make a lure and go fishing.
If you were fishing, would you take that? I would.
He's beyond space case.
Something.
It was Roger's world is Roger's world. If you're in Roger's world, there's no room for anything except Roger.
If the fuel problem weren't enough, something else.
We had just taken a pounding in real heavy water the night before that had that ship rocked over 20 degrees. The engineers found water down the hold. The ballast tanks revealed themselves to be leaking.
Without proper ballast, a ship loses stability and could actually overturn.
When I saw the water leaks, I went, oh dear. That's real ocean, and it's coming in where I don't want to see it. Water was going everywhere in the ship, and there was no way to control it. We had to pump water out. We had to get down there and see what was going on.
The pipelines that run to the ballast go right through the freshwater tank.
Then another surprise.
Is there any fresh water right now on the ship? No, there's no fresh water. Jesus Christ. Someone opened the faucet to get a drink and wash their face in alkaline salt water.
Leaks in the freshwater tank have wiped out all their drinking water.
You know, it was a chilling, although I was calm, I tell you, seawater doesn't belong inside a boat. It's supposed to stay outside.
Frenzied, the crew rushes to repair the leaks before it's too late. But up on top, the weather's changing for the worse.
It's 300 miles in every direction. There's nothing. We're approaching a storm. We don't have the fuel that I thought we had. We're taking water. At that point, it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? You know, we have no ballast. We might have to change course, which then presents a fuel problem. I mean, we got problems. The situation was way beyond what I was able to understand.
So we're gonna have to declare an emergency. This is the Virgin Express calling any boat.
Finally, Forbes radios for help,
We're not getting anywhere.
but there's no response.
We don't have communications.
And I couldn't communicate. There was no radio contact. And right at that moment, and for a little while there, I was really basically, I was hanging by a thread.
Hours later, repairs still ongoing. With no fresh water and no stabilizing ballast, the Virgin Express limps towards Columbia.
Roger has turned into the wind, and we're now in 15-foot seas. And we're going at 3 knots.
Night's fallen, we're running out of gas.
And then finally, my phone suddenly worked. So I get a really bad message. We don't have clearance to go into Columbia.
We're now in a really serious problem, and this is not fun. This is, we could lose the ship right now.
There was nowhere to go. And when I realized that, I thought, you know, I may die out here tonight. And it didn't scare me. It really pissed me off.